Hello, everybody. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. Now, my guest today is a voice actress, a loop group director, a casting director, according to IMDb, and has done lots of work for lots of different films. She has voiced characters such as Billy in the new Marmaduke film. Was it on Netflix? Is that what it was?
Yes, Netflix.
It was
Yeah.
Netflix, yeah. And my guest has also been in A Turtle's Tale, Sammy's Adventure, I believe that's what it's called, and multiple other different films that she has done the loop group for. So, of course, when I say films, I mean wow, tons. I'm just going to list a few you might know. So there's Encanto, Trolls Band Together, Five Nights at Freddy's, Elemental, Cars on the Road. I know that's not a movie, but it's a TV show. Turning Red, Scoob, Toy Story 4, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, Elf, Chicken Little, Curious George, Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Frozen, and many more. Straight from Los Angeles, it's Terri Douglas.
Well, thank
Welcome.
you.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. And speaking of Los Angeles, I'll be there in less than 2 months' time, and it's absolutely crazy. Oh
yeah,
my
welcome. Come to LA and see us.
yeah.
We're all here.
I'm so excited, honestly. So I've got to ask Terri, first of all, how are you doing today? Have you been up to much recently? Because I've had a look on IMDb and it said that you've done a few things. It said you've done Inside Out 2, the sort of loop troop for that. I know you can't really
Yes,
say
I'm
anything.
working on that one right now. I can't tell you any details.
Nah.
But yeah, so we're doing the loop group and some incidental character voices, and it's getting put together. It's very exciting.
I have a feeling. I know one of the actors who is in Inside Out 2, but obviously I'm not going to say because the film's not out until this summer. And I went to see the film, the first film, like when it came out, and I was like nearly 10 years ago. And now I'm
Wow.
going to go see the sequel in cinemas again. And it just feels
Oh
like,
yeah.
wow, this is a film that I've really wanted a sequel to. Um, so of course I've got to ask now. This is probably my top question. A fellow Loop Troop ADR, absolute legend, who is no longer with us. By any chance, did you know Mickey McGowan?
I'd only met her twice, but I never
Oh,
worked with Mickey. She's a lot older and just a different uh, generation. But I'd met her twice at a little gathering at another actor's house, but I didn't have the chance to work with her. Yeah.
right. I was gonna say because she did a lot of the earlier Pixar films. So she did I think she did Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles and stuff. And now you're doing all like the latest Pixar films, which is really quite cool. So that's why I kind of presume that you probably had seen her at some point.
Yeah.
Um, how did you get into looping? Would you say did you just fall into it, or did you what's the story behind your introduction to ADR?
Well, a long time ago, super long time ago, I went to a SAG conservatory.
Mhm.
They had going over the summer where you could go and take a little workshop for half a day with different people. And I went to Bob Bergen's because I was interested in doing
Oh,
animation voices because I have a very young voice as well. And so Bob mentioned he was doing an animation chat about everything in the business. And he mentioned looping for like 5 seconds and a little bit about it. And I thought, what's that? That sounds like fun. So anyway, I actually ended up meeting a woman who was running a loop group at the time and at that event. And I chatted with her for a while because I was doing on-camera acting. And she says, "Oh my gosh, I love your voice because you can play teenagers and kids and all of this." And so she invited me to the stage right away. I sat on the stage the first day I watched looping, looked at the screen and watched these actors performing at the mic. I knew exactly that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, for my career. I just knew that was it. And it was weird. It was that aha moment. And
that's
it just all kind of came together, all my experience and everything I could do, all in that one all in looping. And so it happened a long time ago, and she started inviting me into work. And I did a ton of work and learned on my feet and, get in the trenches and go. And I had a lot of great talent around me that was teaching me as well. And it
yeah.
just took off from there. And then about a year later, I started my own loop group, and it took off and here we are.
That is so cool. I've got to
Yeah.
ask, is there any actors that you've worked with who have been in your loop group, who are regular VAs? Is there some who are like maybe celebrities or actors who have been brought in to do looping? Who would you say like you've worked with probably the most?
Oh, well, you know what? There's a lot of actors who are just voice talent who love just doing voice work. And so they're considered kind of our looper groups. They also do a lot of on camera work. And then I have a lot of animation talent. A lot of the people you had mentioned earlier when I was talking to you, they come in and loop with me as well. I've changed my loop group around quite a bit over the years. And so I have a very extreme diverse group in all ways of diversity. And I also have a lot of very very high powered animation talent that come in to work with us when we need specialty voices and things, and we have such a great day when they're there. So I use a huge mix of people to create what we need to create. And yeah, I have had some celebrities in there too.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool. So I've got to ask, what was the first ever film or television project that you did looping for as a loop group director?
Okay. So it was called Dunstan's Check-In. And it was a about an orangutan, a movie about orangutan. And I actually had Bob Bergen come in and fill in some of the orangutan voices. So it was kind of
Ooh.
funny that, he mentions looping, I get in and then I end up hiring him. And so that's a lot of fun. But yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, because it says, yeah, Bob Bergen was the voice of Dunstan. And then,
Yeah.
oh, of course, Frank Welker's in it.
Yes. And Frank did a lot of that voice as well. I don't know how much of which was used. So yeah,
He did Neil the dog, the voice of Neil the dog, the
I
little.
know. So talented.
I know, like, I'm literally just like looking at your IMDb now, and I'm just gonna go on like one of the recent.
Sure.
Name a recent Disney film that you've done.
A
Is that
recent one? Oh my goodness. So I did Wish.
Wish? Okay, let's have a look at
Wish. That
let's have a
was a
look
new
at
one. It
the
was that I have
movie.
to look too. There's been a lot. Uh, yeah, Wish was a lot of fun, and I did all the Frozen 1 and 2, and I've worked with Disney for a long time working on animation, and they're so much
Mm-hmm.
fun to work with. The creators that create the films are just such a delight to work with and create with, and just a lot of fun, nice people. They're
Yeah.
super creative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's have a look. So there was a lot of people. Mimi Maynard was in the loop group for that. I know her. I've seen her on
Yeah.
Facebook. So like I know
So
some of the people. Let me just narrow it down to loop group.
Mimmy's the one that taught me how to loop back in the day.
Oh really?
When I first started looping. Yeah.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh,
Uh-huh.
that is amazing. Who
Yeah.
else? There?
She's one of
Jessica
my buddies. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there is a lot of people. Gray Griffin's in there as well. She's on my wardrobe.
Yes, I
Oh,
love Grace. She's quite talented. I have her
every
scheduled for a show coming
destination.
up in February. So
Oh
it'll be
wow.
fun to just sit and play with her for the day. She's so talented and comes up with the best things to say. And she's just so
Oh.
lovely and funny.
Who else is there? Amari McCoy, I know her. But like, oh, I know of her work, but like, I've not had her on my show. Fred Tadershaw. Oh
Oh,
my
don't you
goodness.
love Fred? I love Fred. I've worked with him forever, and
I'm
we've done such silly, funny things together. And I've nicknamed him Fredwin. I have no idea, but we were
Fredwin.
working today, and it was Fredwin all day long. But anyway, Fred and I were in a movie called Black Christmas, and it had a killer that was in the wall. And so they took Fred
Ooh,
and my voice, me being the higher end, spooky high end, and Fred the lower end, and combined us to make one voice.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
Fred and I
gosh.
have merged.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm planning on having him on my show, I'd say around
Oh, he's such a
February
love.
time
He's so
next.
talented and the voices that come out of him. But what I love most about Fred is just his personality and his joyous um energy that you spend the day with. Fred is
Yeah.
just really a love. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cory Walgren, she was the last person I interviewed at the end of 2023. I just met.
Oh yeah, Kari's great. She comes in and oh, we love Kari. We have
She
fun
was
with her.
lovely.
They're talented too.
Wow, so that's so cool that all these people you've worked with. What about, of course, we were talking about Frank Welker obviously before we started recording. Um, you worked on the original Curious George movie, and then you've done the obviously some of the movies that were made out of the television
Yeah.
show. And so you didn't meet Frank at any of the recording sessions. You didn't meet him until the rap party.
Yeah, I didn't meet
Wow.
Frank until they had a wrap party for this show, and he was standing in the corner, and I walked over and said hi because when I bring in my loop group with all the actors and we're all doing the incidental characters and the things in the background, everyone who's recorded their principal voices isn't at that session. So it was so fun to get up to go say hi and chat with him, and he's just a love, and he was teaching me how to do squirrels and. They're kind of funny voices. So, when you're standing around the master, you have to think, what's that voice I want to learn how to do? And there's Frank. So, just such a talented and very, very nice person.
Oh my gosh, I have got to ask him about how he does his animal sounds when I meet him, or like, because I want to surprise him when I go over
Yeah.
to LA. Like, what do I do? Do I surprise him by I can suddenly do the noise of a monkey, like I don't know what he does exactly, but like the noise he makes when he does like a boo from Aladdin, it's just oh my word, he is all the way up there. It's just amazing.
I know it's amazing the little nuances in the character in the voice, the breathing, the little slurpy sound of the mouth, whatever it is, Frank knows how to get it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, very good.
So about voiceover. So wait, did you become a voice actress first, or did you? Oh, of course, you became a voice actress first in like the sort of loop groups, and then you started your own loop group. So what was the first project that you did as a voice actress?
Well, first I was singing when I was younger. I was a singer
Mhm.
and I wanted to be a big pop star and a singer and all that. And that went the other direction. And so then I thought I was going to be a lawyer. And then that changed. And then I've gone through a lot of different things. And then I've done a lot of casting. And so merging into voiceover was quite easy for me. So I voice cast, I'm sorry, I've kind of lost the question, but I voice cast the talent for the films and the TV shows, as well as bring in my loop group and coordinate how
Oh,
they and direct them during the day on the stage, as well as I'm a voice actor as well, and I'm a voice agent, and I audition and I do voices as well. And so I wear a lot of different hats for all of these projects, but they all actually kind of come together and combine into one.
wow. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
does Disney like hire you? Do you technically work for Disney? Oh my gosh, like you are doing it all. I'm so
So
jealous.
so all the studios, they'll call me, the editors will call and say, hi, we'd like you to, help us put the group together on this show. So then they
Mhm.
hire me to do that show. So I'm not an employee of theirs, but I'm, an
Yeah.
outside employee. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That still makes sense. Yeah. Right. I've got to ask, what has been your most memorable looping session, if you do have one?
Oh gosh. Um, I worked on a movie called The Wild a super long time ago.
I've heard that film.
And I had to bring in just men one day. And I brought in 14 animated actors one day, like
Wow.
Jess Burnell and all these great talent. And they all got up at the mic and they had to be wildebeest that sang and grunted and did all these noises. And I had so much fun running back and forth, learning the song from the music editor and running back in and singing it to them. And then they would sing it in their wildebeest voice to the screen. And it was just such a fun day of creativity that was a lot of fun. I think Frozen was really a highlight for me. Just all of us actors on stage together and dancing around and creating sound, and it was a lot of fun. That movie was very memorable too. But they kind of all are memorable. They all have there's all like little things from each movie that I remember, that were such fun to put together and create on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, yeah, because I'm looking at the cast for the Wild now. Some people I've had on my podcast, I've had Bob on. Bob Jones is in the cast. Pat Fraley, I've had on my show. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Josh Keaton. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Mona Marshall, Nolan North. Of course, I'm getting. Oh my gosh, Brian Cummings. This is just like. Oh my gosh, it's like all my favorite people in a film. It's so
The
magical.
wonderful thing is that people you love are all really wonderful people, and
Yeah.
they're friendly and kind, and they're very nice people as well. And besides being so talented.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, it kind of also matters in voiceover, I personally think, to have like a really kind and like outgoing attitude, not just to your work, but to the fans and people you meet also. Because like voice actors who like, are really good in the craft, but like have a really bad attitude or aren't very nice, I don't think they'd get very far, personally.
Well, if you think about it, we have to spend the day with that person. It could be an 8 hour day in the room. And if
Yeah.
you have a lot of people in the room together, sometimes I have looping sessions that could have 18 people, 20 people all in the room, plus, our directors and such. And so, you want to have people that have a great attitude, that are positive, that want to have a good energy and jump up to the mic. And I've had such, side ripping laughter experiences with actors doing crazy things on the mic, that it's too bad it couldn't all be filmed, because that magic is just so much fun to see.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Is there an actor that you've always wanted to work with or direct that you've never had the chance to as of today?
Well, I think everyone would like to work with Meryl Streep, but she doesn't need me to direct her.
I think should be good. I think should be good.
But it would really be fascinating too. I think more on camera, I would really enjoy doing a scene with her, because she's just so amazing to me. Um, she personifies everything.
Wow, that's so cool. I'm having a look. All right, I've got to ask. I've got to ask about the looping for the Five Nights at Freddy's film. What was that like for you? Of course, like it's live action, but like was it how did you feel doing it? Like,
Oh, I didn't work on that, so I'm not sure why that's on IMDb, but
did you not work on it? Oh my goodness, I feel like such a fool for saying it in the
no,
intro.
it's okay. Once in a while they put things on there that aren't yours, but
It said ADR loop group Terri Douglas for
no.
the Five Nights at Freddy's film. Well, I mean, I'm just because I'm looking at it now because I'm having a look. Loop group. There isn't really a lot of them are like kid voice actors in the Loop group. Oh, Scott White's in there as well. Have you ever worked with Scott White?
Mhm, mhm.
I need to get him for my show. I need to like. There's so many people out there who like I know who have been like I've been acquainted with, but they need to come on my show. They need to have their own episode dedicated to them. It's so crazy. Right, Terry. I've got to ask now. This is probably I can't remember if I've asked this before because like my head is like literally going all over the place right now. What has been your favorite Disney film to work on, if you can pick, if you're allowed to pick, that
Oh,
is?
wow, wow, wow. That would be so hard to pick. Probably Frozen, I would think. I think Frozen was just this big step into this big, huge original music scored amazing project. And, as I said, that creators of it are just such wonderful people, and they're so creative, and probably would be that one. I think for me, stepping on the Disney lot is just such a fun moment. I always think, gosh darn, I wish I would have met Walt when I was a kid, but he died before I was even born. But it has its own little magical feeling, that lot, and it's fun to be on there, and it's a privilege and honor to do it. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds quite fun. Oh man, I really need to try and get to the Disney lot. Well, one of my friends had an audition for Disney, I'd say like 2019, and I don't think he got it because he never posted anything about, getting anything for Disney. But oh my gosh, I'm so desperate to find out what he was auditioning for. I'm pretty sure you could say like all these years later, but it's just so it's mysterious. Right. Would you say it's easier to direct looping for live action films or animated films, Terry?
Well, it's different. So live action films for our Loop group, we want people to sound like normal, regular people, right? So if you're playing a police officer, I need you to sound like, hey, get back from the border. You know, I need people to sound like they really are from that walk of life and they're really
Yeah.
natural and they're not putting on little voices or anything. They're very much real and they can bring these scenes back to life that we're working on. Also, we get into big, huge crowd scenes sometimes with live action, like at football games or whatever, and everybody's screaming and yelling. And so that's one side of it. Animation is different in the sense that we get to also play a lot of the incidental characters that you're hearing and seeing that maybe only have a line or two. And sometimes we get to do funny creative voices with it, which is a lot of fun. That's when I really get excited when everybody gets to do voices. But a lot of the animation now, and has been for a while, is played very real as well. And I think of animation as more as personalities. It's like they want to hear your personality that brings that character alive to make it come alive. Where live action is, it's basically filling up backgrounds, filling up scenes to make them just sound normal, like you don't notice that that wasn't recorded live on the set, right? So when you're filming a restaurant scene in live action, they just mic the principal actors, right? And they have some boom
Yeah.
mics running around, getting a little of the background in there. But primarily everyone has to be quiet so that they can get the principal dialogue clean, right? When they
Yeah.
record. So then
Yeah.
you have extras sitting there going, and fake talking. And so it would look really weird if you just had the principals talking and you don't hear the background, right? So we come in as actors and stand in a big sound stage with a big screen and a microphone, and behind us is the mixer and the engineer, and they're all recording us. And we stand there, we look at the screen, and we'll say, oh, okay, well, there's these tables over here and tables over here, and these people are talking, and I get a group of people up, and we all start talking like we're at dinner. And we're, hi, yeah, and I know, and blah, 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 and how is this going? And, we just create these conversations that can float in the background and they sound real. And maybe we need to react to something. Maybe a waiter falls over a chair and knocks a bucket of champagne all over somebody, and we need to go, oh my, and you hear all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of that is added to. Or maybe you want to change the tone of a scene. Maybe it's just a little too solemn and it needs to be more lively, or hear the bar in the background where everybody's getting all crazy. So we record a track of people in the bar who's all, yeah, hey, and then that way, well, not quite like that, but better.
Yeah.
Uh, but then they place these tracks in the film so it just fattens up the scene and it brings it back to life. And sometimes they might want to change it all together. Maybe it's not going to be what it was filmed to be. Maybe they want it to sound completely different, or maybe they want to hear some weird noise or people screaming running by the doorway because maybe there's a monster running out there and the people in the restaurant don't know it. So then we're the people screaming and running past a microphone, and they record that and stick it
Yeah.
in, and you'll hear the screaming of people running down the street. So it's a lot of fun. Looping is a lot of fun. It's a um, very active process when you're on this stage. Even for animation, it's very active,
Yeah.
very
Yeah. I can
physical.
tell. Oh, I can
Yeah.
tell. Yeah, definitely. Did you work on Once Upon a Studio recently?
It's fun a studio. No,
No, it's on your IMDb. I was gonna bring it
it
up,
is.
but I was like,
I don't know
But
what
the
it
thing is,
is.
a lot of the new Disney show that was made for the 100th anniversary with all the characters and all the voice actors and stuff.
Oh, are you
It's
talking about the? Hmm. I did do something, but I'm not supposed to say. It could be what you're talking about.
maybe I don't know, but I mean, a lot of the stuff on here says uncredited. That like, and then you say,
It
"Oh, I
always
didn't do
does.
that." That's probably why you're uncredited because you did not do that. You didn't do that project.
Well, no, no, no. Generally what happens is that they don't check the screen credit to see if your name's up there. And sometimes they don't
Ah,
put
right.
Loop group's name up there. They leave it
Oh,
off.
right.
They
Okay.
just they've already typed credits, and and it just gets left off. But yeah, so no, I did do something for Disney, which I can't really say. And it might be what you're talking about.
Maybe one day we'll
I know the
find out.
official
I don't
name.
know. Maybe. But that is the official name, Once Upon a Studio. But like, well, maybe one day we'll find out when the NDA is worn off.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
But
yeah. What day to
yeah,
be able to
yeah.
say?
So Terry, I've got to ask you one final question. The big one. It is, um, What's the best advice you would give to someone who is interested in getting into ADR looping?
Okay. So, loopers, voiceover talent are actors. So you need to take an improv class. You should definitely be loose on your feet and be able to improvise, be able to roll with whatever scenario they can put you in. Sometimes we have aliens coming down to attack us and we need to say all these crazy things. And that's not like daily life. Right. So an improv class brings all that out in you and helps free you up. I also think for voice acting as well, you need to take a scene study class. You need to learn how to read a script. You need to learn how to interpret it. You need to find how a script flows and where it's going. And then I also really think that people should take voiceover classes so that they learn how to work with their voice, especially if you want to do animation, so that you can hear yourself. You don't know what might come out of you until you say it. So I always think classes are really important, but I don't think you need to overdo them. I'd love to hear people's natural performance. Looping, I do teach a seminar once in a while. I haven't over the pandemic because we couldn't all be in the same room. So maybe
No.
we'll get to do that at some point again. But it's important for looping to get into that you need to learn how to sync dialogue when somebody's speaking on screen. Again, if it's the waiter walking up to a table saying, "Hi, can I take your order? Would you like champagne today?" Right? You might just see them go. So, right, I have no idea what that person just said, right? So you have to look at those lips and go, what did they just say? So it's really good to get familiar with lip reading. I think a fun way to do that is put a movie on, stick it on your computer. And if you have somebody talking on camera straight at you, then turn the sound off and then play it back again and watch them, their lips go. And then you try to sink something in that fits into their mouth, that fits into the scene, right? And because a lot of that is the lip sync. And also, again, that's where the improv comes in, is learning how do police officers speak, how do FBI, forensic, how do doctors, nurses, all the different walks of life. It's great to have what we used to call a research notebook, a little information on everybody. A looper is someone who knows a little bit about everything and can
Yeah.
talk about it. I could launch a space shuttle. I have the copy written out and all the research that I've done. In looping, they don't hand you things to say. You have to go out and research what we're going to talk about and come up with what you're going to say. You have to have your facts straight to know what you're talking about. So you sound like you are a news anchor on the little TV in the background over there, right?
Yeah, no, that makes
So,
total sense.
yeah, I think looping it away for me is almost like going to college because you'll get a new subject to work on, right? For each show, everything's
Yeah.
different. And you get to research about all of these different things that are in the movie, put your notes together, and then you come to the stage with everything, or we're recording virtual a lot today still as well.
Yeah. Well, that
So,
makes sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, so it's very involved. Looping's very involved.
Mhm.
And one thing I'll say as well is about casting for looping and stuff. I'm looking for people who are really good at their skills and what they're doing, and who have great personalities. And I need people to sound like themselves and not other people. It's really important that you bring yourself to this. A lot of times, a lot of studios are asking me to cast a lot of different roles, and they're looking for just a different sound, or a more relaxed sound, or a natural person sound, or a more of a character to a voice, but not for you to imitate somebody else, is what I'm trying to say. So today, bring yourself to this stage because everybody can be a part of it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Terry, thank you so, so much for coming on my show. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you this evening.
Thank you. It's been fun to meet you. Good luck, and let me know when you're out here.
I will do, yes.
Yeah.
Where can we find you on the internet? Have you got a website? Is there anything you'd like to promote real quick?
I do have a website and I need to update it. I know I need to update it. It's Terri Douglas ADR voicecasting.com. I know, could it be longer? But it's my screen credit, Terri Douglas ADR voicecasting.com. And you can find a lot of projects. Sometimes when I'm casting for something specific, I'll put it in the casting now so you can see if I'm looking for somebody who might be speaking a different language of some sort. And so I will put that in there to kind of help people reach out as well and submit. And there's a way to link into that as well and send me your demo and resume and headshot so that I can be aware of a lot of different people. Now in our virtual world, which is really fun, I'm able to record people throughout the US. I have a show going where I have someone from New Zealand, one in China,
Oh,
one, somebody in England. I have
are
people
they
all
part of the union
over.
or is it non-union project?
So for them, those are working on games, and so
Ah, right.
yeah, it's a kind of in a different realm. But my point is, you can live in a different state in the United States and still record and do this. I have a lot of actors that don't live in LA, and we all get together on a virtual program and record that way as well too. So yes, there's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
Yeah.
Terri, thank you so much. We're going to get cut off any second now, so I'm going to quickly
Okay.
say thank you so much for watching this interview to everybody at home. Make sure to go and look at Terri's website, and I hope you enjoyed the interview. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Take care, everybody. Bye. And cut.